Hi guys, it's Elisa with Fusion DIY. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you a couple of projects that I worked on over the weekend, but before I do that, I wanted to share with you a couple of cute pieces that I found at my local Habitat Restore while I was shopping yesterday. The first item is a cute cow piggy bank, but it could be used as home decor. I just thought the expression on her face was just priceless. And then the next is a very sweet Best Grandma Ever mug, which is really pretty, perfect condition, brand new, never used. And then finally, I found this 2-gallon mason jar that I have in my booth, and that would be a great item for dog treats or decor for the holidays. But for project number one, I picked up this box from my girlfriend. She bought it for me at a yard sale, and I'm giving it a coat of clear polyurethane to keep any bleed through from happening with this piece. Once the clear coat dried, I gave it 2 coats of chalk mineral paint from Rust-Oleum in the color linen. And it's interesting because as fast as I was painting this, and obviously this is speeded up, so that's not me painting that fast, but once I got the top done and I moved on to the sides, the top was pretty much dry already. That's how dry that wood was. So it dried very, very quickly for me. And once it was finished drying with 2 coats, then I went on and I added a stencil. I'm using a stencil from Essential Stencil, and it was one that I kind of only used parts of the stencil. I didn't use the whole thing because I was really kind of aiming towards something a little bit more generic than what was on there. So I went ahead and I blocked off the part that I didn't want to get any paint on. And when I finished the stenciling it, I realized, I forgot the gingerbread man on the right. So I put the stencil back down and I added them. And once that was done, there was another part of the stencil that I wanted to put on the front. And so it took me a hot minute to get it centered. But once I got it centered, then it was pretty easy to do because the letters are fairly large and there's not a whole lot of detail in there. And so I am stenciling on the word bread. And then once that was done, you can see that the letters are split, and I didn't really like that, so I took a very fine brush and some black paint, and I went in and I connected the letters so that there was no split there in between the font. And then once that was done, I wanted to put a handle on the lid because I didn't want the paint to wear off in the front. So I drilled a hole, and I actually had to drill a hole twice because the first drill bit that I used was a little bit too narrow. So this is the little bigger one. And I put the knob on. I also picked that up at the Habitat Restore. That was a great big 25 cents. But it makes quite a difference. It's a porcelain knob, and I think it just worked out great. Then I went back and I distressed all the letters just to make it look not quite so pristine. And then I also distressed the front as well. Although it's kind of hard to see it in the video here. It definitely did take away some of the starkness. And here it is in my booth. For project 2, I found I call it a 3-bay wooden piece that I also found at the Habitat Restore. And this piece was $1. And so I'm repainting it. It was painted white, but you could see that there was bleed through. So I did give that a coat of polyurethane as well before I started painting it. And then I gave it a coat of paint. I set it aside and I took 3 jars, and I'm sorry I'm out of the camera view here, but I took 3 jars and I tied some twine around the tops. And then when the paint dried, I took a transfer from IOD, and I believe that's the Brocante transfer set, and I put the transfer on the front, and the transfer fit just perfectly. It was very appropriate for what I was using it for, and the size of it and the scale of it were just perfect. So I was real happy with that. Now, if you've never used a transfer before, that's all there is to it. You lay it down on your piece and you use the scraping tool that comes with your transfers, and you just press it down. And if anything does not adhere, you lay the transfer back down and you press over it again, and voila, there it is. And it turned out great. Now I'm going back to burn it. And then I'm putting the jars in. And here it is in my booth. For project 3, I actually picked up a tray when I was at the Goodwill bins about 2 weeks ago. And it's just a very simple tray that I thought would be perfect for someone in their bathroom. And so I painted it white. Of course, I gave it a coat of polyurethane before I started painting. And then I painted it white. And I'm switching now between large brush and a small brush to get the details of the top and to get in the handles. I painted all of that white. And it really turned out really pretty. And I really thought that it would be something that somebody could use in their bathroom. Very plain and simple, and just a nice little tray. Unfortunately, one of the things that I did, and I did not capture it on video, was I added some transfers, some of the lavender transfers from one of the earlier IOD transfers, and so I don't have that. But for project 4, and this is the final project of the day, I took this little tray that I picked up, again, $1 at the Habitat Restore, and I'm doing this in regular time because I want you to see just how easy and how quickly it is to transform something that is dark and outdated into something that is really pretty and contemporary and very fitting for home decor. Now this piece is actually a little concave, so I'm not sure if it was some type of a container or what, but I thought it would look great hanging on a wall. And so I went over it And once I went over it, I did spray it with polyurethane, clear matte polyurethane, to preserve the paint. But I'm really not even using much paint. As a matter of fact, I don't think that I dipped my paint into the container. I'm just using the excess paint that was left over from when I painted the bread box. So this is just the leftover paint. It was a very easy and a very quick flip, and I just thought the intricacy of the carvings were great. And here it is in my booth. I thought it just turned out beautiful. So I hope you enjoyed these projects. Thanks for joining me today. We'll take a quick tour around my booth. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please comment on what your favorite project was, and hit the notification bell so that each time I upload another video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. Have a great week.